Hello everybody and welcome to my quick video on everything wrong with everything ever. And while this may seem like a monumental undertaking, you may first realise that I'm pretty proficient at whining about things. Also, this is problems with modern first-person shooters, so when you're a recluse as boring as me, FPS games are pretty much everything ever. But I'm trying to make this video at the moment. I've had blood taken, I've not eaten today, and I've just decided it'd be a great idea to have a beer. So I might be a little bit incoherent at times. First point I'd like to make is that it's quite a general one, and it's going to sort of go across the other points that I make purely on the merits of it being really broad, like Kerry Katona before she replaced cake with cocaine. The game companies don't listen to gamers anymore, which seems odd as we're their target market. Like when Armored Kill DLC came out for Battlefield 3, we all cried foul and hated the AC-130 because it was a fucking mess that just rained down destruction. You can do anything about it and no one likes being killed for no reason. But Dicey A shoehorned it in anyway because COD had one and COD outsold them last time. Woohoo! Money! After learning that everyone hated this poorly conceived, hash-brained idea, they simply insisted on cramming it into the next game as well. Oh goody, we all shouted. That thing we hated from the last game that we could effectively avoid by not playing the DLC is now in the whole fucking game. And game companies appear to just have this overwhelming urge to cram gimmicks down our throat like they're Peter Harmon on a picnic with his wife. Obscure porn joke. Like Levolution in Battlefield 4, where the only event worth watching is the Shanghai skyscraper that scatters so much white powder everywhere it looks like Kerry Katona's fucking coffee table. And the other problem with the DLC stuff at the moment that I've got is apparently they just have to make all the DLC guns better than the guns they've already got. Like this Battlefield problem, sure, like it mostly applies to Battlefield, but it applies to other games as well. Like the netcode issues that we have in Battlefield 4 aren't all down to the terrible tick rate, although that doesn't help. It's because weapons fire rate is so fast and they're so accurate and have such low recoil that you're dead the moment someone looks at you. It's like there's some sort of technology gap between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 where someone discovers Nikolai Tesla's secret notes on the death ray and just disguises the Ultimo Death Ray Killing Machine 6000 as an AEK. The best weapons from each class also are in DLC, and with every DLC there's been a weapon so brutally powerful on release it had to be nerfed just under a month after release. The Gold Magnum, the Desert Eagle is going to have to be nerfed because that's fucking ridiculous. The Bulldog's ridiculous, the AWS is ridiculous, the MTAR was ridiculous when it came out because it did assault rifle damage but it was a carbine and it also had brilliant hipfire accuracy because it was a bullpup. And it had a fucking 900 rate of fire, which is just absurd again. But I would complain about the lack of work done by the QA departments on this, but honestly, after how the fucking broken abortion we got on release after the fucking broken abortion we got on release, I'm surprised the DLCs work at all. Oh wait, they fucking don't. Damage modification perks are another bugbear, and it's the reason that I can't play PlanetSide 2 without bursting into a fit of rage like a Viking berserker who found out the milkman's been porking his wife. But the new system in PlanetSide 2 is essentially that little bit of pay to win that is, you know, just it's corrupting an otherwise stellar free-to-play game. And you can purchase these sort of implant things to gain different advantages. But instead of just being slight tweaks to ammo capacity or jetpack duration, or sort of non-combat advantages that wouldn't affect gunfights or that sort of gameplay too much, they've added in regeneration implants and things like that. So you can recharge health out of combat, not only rendering the medic kit obsolete, but it also, you know, it means that you can just take cover for a couple seconds, regenerate your health, and then start the gunfight again. And the guy who doesn't have the regen implant is going to lose because you can just keep fucking giving yourself health back. And while some of these, you know, I think guns and implants and all this sort of stuff add depth to a game, but these sort of perks, they simply feel cheap, and it's just a way to encourage people to spend more money on a game without making it more enjoyable. Battlefield Bad Company 2 had this problem, obviously not in a pay-to-win aspect, but it had the problem where there was perks that you just had to take. You couldn't not take them because you'd be at such a massive disadvantage. Like the problem with Magnum Ammo and Body Armor. Magnum Ammo perk was so broken, it was simply the best perk. If you were in combat and you didn't have Magnum Ammo, but someone else did, you'd end up being riddled with more gaping holes than Sasha Grey after a hard day's work. And the same thing applies to defensive perk in BF4. If you've got the defensive perk, you can now take 5 bullets instead of 4 point blank, meaning you win almost every gunfight one-on-one. It was also part of the reason that the zero health glitch, that wasn't really a glitch, it was part of the reason that happened as well. Because it reduced your damage by like, you know, point something of a percent, which meant instead of doing 100 damage, it meant you did like 98.5. So then if you had like 2 damage from before, you'd have 0.4 or 0.5 health with the game, you know, the game would round that down into, 0. And then everyone would be like, oh, it's got 0 hold, I'm really annoyed. But it was just because of this fucking stupid defensive perk. Poor gun balance is another problem that I have games too. Like, you know, the so-called god guns, or the sort of upper echelon of weaponry that you have to do, you know, if you want to do well, you've got to pick that gun. Or, you know, if you fancy picking a gun because it looks nice, or you just fancy, you know, playing a game with a slightly less effective gun, then sorry, no fun allowed. You're just going to have to lose. I realise that making the guns all the same with just different skins would be stupid, and it would make it bland, beige and one-dimensional, but, I can't believe I'm going to say this, COD were onto a blinder when they introduced a point system that allowed you to take, like, you know, effectively the god gun, but then you couldn't take loads of good perks because you'd used up all your points on a really good gun. And this would allow people to, like, customize their class and have a very specific niche that they wanted to fill, or it would simply allow you to become a run and gun specialist and take your favorite gun and minimal gadgets. And the minimal gadgets thing takes me neatly onto my last point, which is the fucking horrendous gadget bloat. Gadgets is just like, there's so many rubbish gadgets in Battlefield 4, and it leaves the kit selection screen so bloated it looks like the fucking upper echelons of the House of Harkonnen. Instead of making a few select gadgets that work well together and thinking of the subtle nuances and interplay between certain gadgets, they just throw some ideas at a wall like half-cooked spaghetti to see which ones stick. But it seems these practices are probably only going to get worse, as we've just seen this sort of escalation of gimmicky gameplay and stuff that doesn't really have to be in games just being crammed in. And, like, you know, when you go and see the E3 presentations, it's not about, oh, look at this game, it's actually good. It's, oh, look at this, you know, cinematic that isn't actually part of the game and isn't rendered in the actual game engine. Fucking bollocks. But it appears we're going to have to just sit through this practice, which is Electronic Arts just shitting in our mouths and telling us it's Nutella. Thanks very much for watching. This was a bit of a rant video, and I apologise for that. But, you know what? This is the reason I've not been getting videos out, and I've been so angry. So, thanks very much for watching. Laters, taters.